Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Apex Greatness. I am your host, Russell Broderick. This way is Dario Albuquerque. Damn, you sound like you died. You alright? You alright today?
Yes. I am the Grim Reaper today.
Okay.
Today is time for Reaperness. This is the beginning for Tom Brady. When you wear all Chiefs colors, all red.
Oh shit!
This hood, huh?
I didn't realize I was doing that.
Yeah, this hoodie signifies death in red. And this is the end of a 43-year-old's dynasty, legacy, everything. It is over. Because the Spagster will get him again. But nice talking to you, Russ. How's everything going? You know?
This is apparently Apex Greatness today.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Fucking hold that thought. Hold that thought. I feel naked. I'm gonna get a jersey that equals greatness. 1 sec. So we rock. In honor of championships, we rock the Celtics Bill Russell jersey. And also to break up the sea of red that was happening that I didn't realize until you pointed it out. I was like, oh my god, that's right. We're caked in red.
Yeah, we gotta go with the teams that we're rooting for. And in honor of like 50 or 60 years ago where Bill Russell grabbed 51 rebounds today.
Really?
Yep, so you see, you don't pay attention to my...
No more shit than me. I put the jersey on. Yeah. But either way, we're here doing a preview for the spectacle of spectacles. The greatest football game that more people watch every year. I wonder what the ratings are going to be like this year.
The greatest game of the year. Fuck that.
You think so?
Yeah, it's always... yeah, absolutely.
I hope that we get a game worthy of that. Like a fun... I just want a fun game. I always root for a fun game.
What we consider fun. Like me, I consider fun Chiefs winning 51-0. But
I consider fun like the Chiefs-Rams game that happened on Monday Night Football a few years back.
I like that, but I
just touchdowns everywhere, points.
I just don't like the outcome. I want that, but really
the reverse where the Chiefs, do the winning.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of cool parallels for this year's Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the first thing to kind of talk about is the obvious Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady stuff. It's been talked about all week. But I do, before I get into like a cool point that we've spoken about before.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Tom Brady kind of made Patrick Mahomes what he is today. Like coming into this game, the reason Patrick Mahomes is as good as he is, I feel like, is because of that AFC championship game.
Okay.
What he had to go, like, pretty much he was on the top of the world in 2018. Mm-hmm. Won MVP, was dominating, and pretty much Brady put him back in his place, in a sense. Patrick, a lot of people would say Patrick Mahomes did not lose that game because the last time he had the ball in his hand, he tied the game and he never got the ball back. And I think that feeling of that AFC championship game and losing and seeing what happened and the way he played kind of changed the way he approached tighter games. Because if you looked at that before, in that same year, he had 3 occasions where he lost tight games, and and you could argue it was partially his fault. It was the Rams in that high-scoring game that we was just talking about.
Right.
It was the Patriots in another high-scoring game where Brady got the ball last and they won with a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
And then it was this game. So I think he learned a lot in that year and took what he learned, and it's what made him. It's what makes him what he is today. But to the better point, do we think that this is and I know it's weird to compare basketball and football, right? But this is a perfect comparison, and it's not about the sport itself. It's more about the legacy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So is this the next Michael Jordan, Magic Bird? Magic Bird. Magic Johnson.
Michael Jordan battle. Set the stage for me. Set the stage for me.
So we've spoken about this before where and we might have talked about it when we broke down in our legacy breakdown that you can find in our archives, probably be somewhere around us. You'll see that we have a question saying what could have changed Magic Johnson's legacy. A lot of people consider him the second, third best player in the world ever. And did you do the face because of what I said, or
no? I did the face because Magic hit someone with a stanky ass pass.
Yeah,
it was so beautiful. Oh my god! Maybe I went like this. He's like about to be retired, and he's just still playing fire. Super confident.
Father for respect.
Haven't seen these highlights since we did that legacy breakdown. So.
Yeah, and but we talked about what could have made Magic like the undisputed GOAT kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And we mentioned this loss to MJ because this could have been a blemish on MJ's record because everyone talks about the 6-0, 6 Finals MVPs, everything like that. But if Magic would have won this series and went 6 for 9 instead of 5 for 9, and had Jordan been 5 and 1, everyone would have been like, nah, he can't be over Magic because Magic has one more, and his last one would have came against you.
Yeah, dead ass. Right? Great point.
So this is where could this be the situation with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady? Tom Brady, we already know, obviously the GOAT of quarterbacks, arguably the GOAT of football. But if Patrick Mahomes beats him, and let's say down the line Patrick Mahomes goes 5. Let's just say he goes 5 for 5 and gets 4 Super Bowl MVPs or whatever. People might say, well, Brady got 6, but he did lose against Patty. Yeah. And Patty's clearly, like, eye test will tell you Patty might be the better quarterback. And then also records might show you Patty is the better quarterback. But if Tom Brady goes 7 for 10 and Patrick Mahomes ends his career 4 for 5 or some shit like that, a lot of that'll be held on his record. It'll be like, all right, these guys are kind of close, but Tom Brady beat him, and Tom Brady beat him when he was 43. Like, so this could affect legacies.
Totally, I completely agree because there's a lot of people that feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like we're always in this chase of seeing the greatest player to ever play. Yeah. So as we go on in time, now that Brady's starting to retire, we're trying to find the next Brady, essentially. Like the next winner to put on that pedestal, right? Yeah. And it puts people on television in this position to say, Pat Mahomes might be able to do more than Tom Brady. And while I think that's unfair, I completely agree with your standpoint. Because even though basketball and football are completely different, Tom Brady is undisputed right now as the GOAT of, at minimum, GOAT of quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
If Pat Mahomes can get him here, then 20 years from now, when Pat Mahomes decides to hang it up, knock on wood, we can say, okay, he beat the guy who we're putting him against here. He did beat him.
Exactly.
So
this breaks the tiebreaker between them because right now they're 2-2 against each other. In terms of like records between regular season and playoffs.
Yeah.
But Brady obviously has the more important victory, which is the AFC Championship.
Right. But the other thing I was going to say was, if Mahomes can beat Brady, like you said, when we're looking at Mahomes' career down the line, we could say he was able to beat Brady. It doesn't matter, and he's got. Fuck, is he going to need 7? He's going to need 7 championships.
I don't think so. I think from and maybe this might be because I'm a Mahomes tard. I for anybody who's in the comments right now, clearly thinking this, with me with a Chiefs freaking shirt on my head, a Chiefs hoodie on, and a Patrick Mahomes jersey. If you think that I'm a Mahomes tard, I agree. All right, yes, you're right, and I agree, but I also am fair, and I think in football you can't. It's not like basketball. Basketball, we compare players who are great are compared through championships and obviously accolades.
Yeah.
But most of it is championships. And the reason is basketball is a 5-on-5 sport and one player can control the entire, like what a game is, what happens in a game.
Right.
Versus football is a 53-man sport.
Yeah.
And you can't, like the quarterback controls a good portion of it, but not enough. Like he can't control the defensive side. You can't control your special teams. Like there, two. So all right. So
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
So but, 2 occasions. Yeah. My bad. Before you jump in, 2 occasions in Patrick Mahomes' playoff career so far, he's had muff punts that have created touchdowns.
Sure.
Right. That against Buffalo and then against Houston.
Yeah. And
he could have lost those games, but luckily the team was good enough to come back and win. But that's something he has no control over, and I think that's what makes it really hard to just compare players off of championships alone.
Yeah.
But if you clearly, to me, you have to hit at least 4, because if you look at the top 10 quarterbacks all time.
Yeah.
I want to say the most championships out of those top 10 are 4. It's probably, I'm assuming if people want to put Terry Bradshaw in there as a top 10 quarterback all time, you possibly can. You definitely have Joe Montana, and we have Tom Brady. Those are the only players to go over 4. So I think in order to be considered at least GOAT status, you have to win at least 4. But to be past Tom Brady, I would argue you need minimum 5.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Everything else, and then MVP, obviously MVPs, stuff like that. You clearly need that. And then the eye test. Like, to me, the eye test is the easiest thing because Tom Brady is so... There's nothing to the eye. Like, he's great at the very little things that no one cares about. But that's what makes him great. Like,
this is also the thing about Brady. Brady's numbers are going to be where they're at because of his longevity. Pat Mahomes is going to be if Pat Mahomes maintains this level of play through the same age as Brady's been playing, then he should have way more yards, way more touchdowns, just simply by the style. Like, I don't think Andy Reid's going to be coaching in 20 years. If he is, fucking good for him. But
I hope, what I really hope, and this is off topic, but I hope Andy Reid retires and we just have EB just be the coach. I hope people are just racist and say fuck this guy, and then we just say, "Oh, perfect, you're our head coach now."
Thank you, thank you, other teams for being stupid. I appreciate it,
and that just continues with our continuity, and we'd be great forever.
But with that being said, let's break down the game a little bit. So we're watching highlights from the Week 12 matchup that the Bucs and Chiefs had, where the Chiefs pretty much ran him off the field. Like, Tom Brady, when you look at the stat sheet, he threw for 300 yards. Pretty sure he finished with 2 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. But it was basically Tyreek Hill jizzed on their face, essentially, to start the game.
They put this on Pornhub
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yes.
Yes.
I put it on Pornhub myself. I did it. So
I drift off to it.
so
Edit. No, I'm joking.
So I think that this is probably a good indication of what we're going to see on Sunday, mainly because most rematches that we've seen outside of Tampa's rematch against the Saints has gone exactly the same way as the first matchup. Bucks Packers, right? Everybody thought Aaron Rodgers was going to get their revenge, and Bucks did the same thing. Stifled Aaron Rodgers, made him throw interceptions, put themselves up similar to the Chiefs did in this first half. And I just see a lot of problems Tampa Bay's way. However, if you're going to beat Pat Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
There's a few ways to beat him, right? One thing that we know for sure is you should not blitz Pat Mahomes. Why not?
You don't blitz Pat Mahomes because over the course of his career, but specifically this year, he's perfect against the blitz. I think he's like 158 quarterback rating.
Yeah, it's all yeah, it's 158.3 is perfect. So I think I heard the stat was like 153. I'll look it up. It'll probably be above my head.
I might have been wrong with the 58.
But he's been awesome, right? So you can't blitz him. So similar to a guy.
My man looked like Lamar Jackson there. You saw that?
In 2007, Tom Brady was scorching the earth. And everyone, and every game. And look, that's what happens when you come and blitz Tom Brady. Instant screen, right? They did a lot of that in 07. And if you let them just bring their front four and your front four wasn't good enough, Randy was going to beat you over the top. It's just they had a foolproof plan, and then Wes Welker underneath. So the Giants were able to defeat them mainly because they had a dominant front four that could bring pressure and sack Tom Brady and slow the game down. Because if Pat Mahomes scores, like if the Chiefs scored 24 or more points, I find it super hard to believe that they'll lose. Like
if the Chiefs score 24 or more?
Yeah. I think you have to stop them from scoring if you want to beat them. That sounds very obvious, but it's easily the hardest thing to do. Almost no one's been able to do it. And if you want to beat them, I think you got to put Pat Mahomes on his ass, just like this Giants team put Brady on his ass. And even though he was undefeated, they slowed the game down. They kept it both teams under 20, right? And that's how they got out of that football game. And we've seen a good chunk of that style in the playoffs already.
Oh, my man Spaggy right there.
That's not Steve Spagnuolo.
That wasn't?
That's Tom Coughlin.
I thought it was my man Spaggy.
It's not your fault. You still got another 10 years or so before you start watching football. So, but that is the blueprint, I think, for the Buccaneers. You get that front four to attack this offensive line that is, some say weekend. I think it's a little overrated. I think that whole narrative is a little overrated. And I think that's just what happens when you have 2 weeks to cover a game. My opinion.
Yeah.
So, I think the offensive line isn't terrible, but I do think that Tampa's defensive line. What'd you say?
They looked fine against Buffalo.
They've looked fine against most people this year. Like, they've been pretty serviceable this year. So, I just think that if you want to beat the Chiefs, and more specifically, if you want to shut down Kansas City's offense, you have to stop Pat Mahomes first. Like, you have to cut the head off.
So
I don't know if it can be done.
Can I just counter your point real quick?
Sure.
Can we go to Pro Football Focus? Reference. and go to Patrick Mahomes' career game log?
Yes.
I think this is the easiest way for me to say what I want to say. All right. So now, so just to, if you look at this, let's not count 2017 because that was his first game, and even in that case, it still kind of proves my point. But I don't think this is not the Patrick Mahomes we're talking about. I think from 2018 and on.
Okay.
If you look at the games that he's lost, besides the Colts game, the opponent has that's perfect. The opponent has scored 30 plus besides the Colts game. So are we saying, or close to 30? Is that the outlier, or is it what's the rule? I would say the rule is score 30 plus and you have a chance. You can't. It's hard to.
You have made this point before.
Yes. So I think the way you beat the Chiefs is you try to keep up with them. You can't if you try to stop Mahomes, you're not gonna stop him. If you look at all these games, he scores points. The only reason he didn't score that much points in that game, I think he might have got injured, and I think Tyreek Hill wasn't in the game or some shit.
Tyreek Hill was not in the game.
Yeah.
And this is why people give him crapola, because they don't acknowledge the Holy Trinity and they just say, "Oh, Pat Mahomes is overrated because he's got all his guys around him." Like, I just think that's a very unfair narrative.
And not to mention, this was his first. Wasn't this in his first year?
This is.
Or was it last?
2019 last
year? Yeah, 2019.
But so, yeah, he did. He only one touchdown, 321 yards, sacked 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I would think that's more of the outlier.
Yeah.
Because in this case, you're gonna have Tyreek Hill in the game, and that messes with the whole offense anyways. If they don't have Tyreek Hill in the game, it's much easier to cover them because then you have to worry about Kelsey much more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you can't just focus on Kelsey or Hill because one of the two are gonna gash you. And I think we mentioned this before, but and I just like this reference. Tyreek Hill is just a stab in the heart. He just kills you nice and quick. And Kelsey is just 1,000 slashes. He's gonna hit you in your calf, then in your rib, and it's a little slice in the heart, maybe in your neck a little bit, and it's just gonna take like 45 minutes for you to die. And Tyreek Hill is like, fuck all that, bro. Stab you right in the heart, and we done with this shit. And that's just the difference between the two. Tyreek Hill is gonna get you the long bomb plays, and is gonna hurt the defense's soul. And Travis Kelsey is the guy that when it's 3-15, and it looks like that you're about to get him out, and it's gonna be a punt. Mahomes just gets it to Kelsey for 16 yards, and the sticks keep moving. That's just how their offense runs, and that's why Russell calls them the Holy Trinity, and I like that. I personally like the Bermuda Triangle, but the Holy Trinity is cool too because Holy Trinity makes it a little bit more godly and shit. We already know what.
So outside of New England, Pat Mahomes has been sacked. Well, and the Houston game, which was a keep up style game, but I remember in the Rams game, right, the one where they really, it was a shootout. And by every stretch of the imagination, it was a shootout. 6 touchdowns for Mahomes. Still sacked 3 times, 3 interceptions. Like, you have to make him make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, you have to make him make mistakes. That's the one commonality I'm seeing in almost all of these. Like, yeah, his passer rating's over 100 in a lot of these, but most of these games, he's got an interception. He's been sacked multiple times. So I definitely agree that the one way to beat him is to, run up the score and try to outscore them. But I think this Indiana game is obviously the outlier, to your point.
Yeah.
But I think this is the right way to do it if you can do it. I just don't know if they can. That's my thing.
I just think it's hard.
I don't know if they can.
I think even for Indy, it would have been hard if Hill was in that game because it changes the whole way you play defense.
Right. I agree.
Hill's literally like if we're talking about like NBA Street Volume 2, he's a game breaker. Like, or I think that's the
Dude, there's game breakers in all of those games. Shout out to EA Sports Big.
yeah, exactly. You already know gang out here, man. We
Okay.
shoot out. But that's what I'm just I just think it's much more easier said than done. That's why teams usually try to win through shootouts because it's just very difficult to stop that offense.
Everything after 2008, this guy was the quarterback, right? So I'm just looking at these games because I'm pretty sure in most of these losses where Mahomes is the quarterback,
Yeah.
and even most of these losses in general, Tyreek Hill's having humongous games.
Yeah.
And it's because what do you do when you're down big?
Yeah.
Throw it as far as you can. Throw it out of the screen. And while I do think that's why they're able to maintain that, and it's why they don't lose a lot of games.
So if we had to rank the top 5 offensive players, and this is both teams included.
Yeah.
How are we ranking them?
Oh, just in this Super Bowl game?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so
little game. And the people listening, you guys could comment below and give us your 5s. We most likely we won't like it and we'll dislike it, but that's fine. We appreciate your comments.
Tom Brady is number 1 and most important. Because if Tom Brady has a terrible game, they cannot win. I don't think they can win if Tom Brady has a terrible game. We saw them win in Green Bay when Tom Brady had a game. So. It was like the tale of two halves. He played amazing in the first half. And then second half, obviously, duded.
Why? So you're saying it from importance? I was just saying.
I was saying in terms of importance.
I like the importance one. All right, that makes it.
I'm saying in terms of importance. Second is got to be Pat.
Okay.
For the same reasons. I think the Chiefs could win if Pat was injured. Obviously, we saw them already win in the playoffs when Pat went down.
Yeah.
But I do think that Pat Mahomes is still the second most important person because he's the head of the snake. He makes this monster move. Tyreek Hill would be 3 based on everything we've just talked about. Tyreek Hill's definitely 3rd for me. After that, I think Leonard Fournette or that was running I think not losing Leonard Fournette would be bad. I think he's a sneaky dark horse for Super Bowl MVP when we do our props.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a lot of controlling the clock, and like I said, if it is a defensive game and they are able to stop Mahomes, Leonard is going to get his touches, and he's going to be bashing into that Chiefs defense. You know what I mean? So I think Leonard's in that importance, and then 5th is definitely probably Kelsey, right?
Okay.
I said 5. Is that 5?
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah.
So that would be my 5. I'm happy I did that in one congruent.
Yeah, I like that.
One take. Let's get it. Fucking. But that's in terms of all around importance. I feel like every member of that Holy Trinity is in that.
Yeah.
And of course, Andy Reid cannot get a heart attack on the sideline. That would be bad for everyone. Yeah. But that would. What about you? What do you think?
I was thinking of it like who is the best 5 when I was first saying it, but I like this twist to it better.
Yeah.
I would say I do agree that I think if Brady was to get a big hit at the beginning of the game, it would be all over for the Bucs. So I agree. I think if there would be a big hit on Mahomes or something, he's out for the game, I would still give Kansas City a chance.
Right.
It would be tough. I feel like Tampa would just be completely out of it.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. Bruce Arians can call plays, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I definitely go. I would go Brady 1, Mahomes 2. I agree with that. For me, because of the way I see the game going, I see Kelsey being the 3rd instead of Hill.
Okay.
I'd rather it be your way though, because if when Hill dominates, it feels like it's over.
Yeah.
Like he gives you that, wow, there's nothing we could do about this feeling. Like like Kelsey, it just takes them so long to figure out that it's over. Like with Tyreek Hill, it's just like, yeah. So, but I think Kelsey is going to be very important.
Yeah.
And then we got who else we got?
That's 3.
I'm gonna go Mike Evans.
Okay.
I think Mike Evans is gonna be Brady's main receiver.
Okay. That's interesting. I don't. I think it's gonna be Godwin, but that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think because he's a bigger receiver that could jump over a lot of these guys.
Sure.
And I feel like he'd be kind of Brady's safety net here. And
I see. Okay, actually, we're watching a play right now that makes me. I think this is going to be the game from a passing perspective for Brady right here. Not this Leonard. The very next play, it's coming right here. So Brady's going to stop, check, Godwin right there. I think it's going to be a lot of that. If we get to the red zone, I think Evans is the guy in the red zone. It's Evans and Gronk, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, but I could totally see that.
Yeah.
But I think I would argue that that matters more in this game is this, like, getting the touchdowns, because if you don't get the touchdowns against the Chiefs, there's no point of running the drive. Like, if you're gonna have long drives to get 3 points, you're gonna lose the game.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have long drives and get touchdowns at the end.
Right.
So that's why I feel like Mike Evans is very important.
Yeah.
And then I would probably go Hill, because it's the matter of them ending the game. Like, it's if Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce do that for 3 straight games, go over 100 plus yards, it's done. It's over. Like, this game, there's no point of even finishing it. Like, they're gonna die. They're gonna blow them out.
Is that what you think happens ultimately?
I feel like it's gonna be very similar to what happened with Buffalo. Buffalo, after a while, just couldn't. They were just like, there's nothing we could do. Like, we can't stop what they're doing. Right. Like, it's either okay, we're gonna try to switch this up where we don't want Hill to kill us, so we're gonna let Kelsey get all of his, and then Kelsey's just gassing you and killing you, and then they're just like, all right, this is clearly not working. Let's try to blitz and do shit, and you just have Hill running all over the place, and then it was just over. Like, by that point, we were blowing them out, and then the fourth quarter was just us waiting until the game ended so we could get a little trophy.
But when you guys needed to run out the clock, you guys ran out the clock, and you guys have been doing that all year.
Yeah, and I truly don't think, just truly naturally, I do not think that the Bucs can score 35 points on the Chiefs. I truly don't think that they can score.
That I don't actually agree with. I think that that's why I think that while I think this is going to be a defensive game because they have the capability to do it, like, they have the personnel to do it, if they can keep Tyreek Hill in front of them. If they can't, like they did last time, all bets are off. But
what has been the best game so far, you'd say, of the postseason? The Bucs, what has been their best game?
Probably against the Saints was their best
offensively,
game.
Right?
Or defensively.
And they only put up 31 points.
Yeah.
They their highest scoring game has been 31.
Right. I still think they could do it. Like, I still think that in the biggest game, I think Bruce, because this is the other thing, I think there's not going to be a lot of punts in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of going for it on fourth down. I think there's going to be a lot of. We talked about it last when we were doing our breakdowns or our reviews of the conference championships. The difference between field goals and touchdowns is massive, right? Yeah. So
I agree.
I think that's definitely going to be a huge factor. What is Steve Spagnuolo going to have for TB12 this time? His record against Tom Brady is really fucking good.
Yeah. And especially in Super Bowls, it's
So when you're thinking about all those things, like, what is Todd Bowles, who's been very good at putting together defensive game plans in this postseason. The last 2 games that the Bucs have played defensively, their game plans have been fantastic. So let's see what they can put together. That's I think the most interesting part to me is for all the talent that's on the field, there is a lot of good coaching. A lot of good coaching. Coordinators included.
Like, because this is what this is where I feel like the Chiefs become a cheat code. Okay. And it's not, and we talk about the Holy Trinity, but the God that's truly controlling the whole Holy Trinity is Andy Reid. And so he's truly God, and the Holy Trinity creates him, and then it just flows through everything. And if you guys know anything about just religion, then then God is within everyone, and that's what Andy Reid does once the Holy Trinity is created. And that's why you rarely see them lose. So Andy
power assessment.
Huh? No, seriously, he's only lost 9 times.
Yeah, no. Read the book. It's called the Bible.
Yeah, exactly. So the nice part about Andy Reid is when it comes to pressure, we make love to pressure. No, I had to take it back to some Steven Jackson.
Look, in the last 2, this is the thing, man.
Wait, talk about. But let me just make the point. My bad. I just keep fucking around too much.
Because you're making me want to tell you that before 2019, Andy Reid did not love pressure.
Yeah, no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
these big situations.
I'm saying what he does in his strategy, like the way he motions the offense and stuff. It fucks with the pressure that the defense is trying to give you. You can't like the way that they're choosing like he always motions out either a running back or Tyreek Hill or even Kelsey, and he fucks with the defense beforehand to relieve some of that pressure off Mahomes from because the defense doesn't know when to go. They're never gonna know what to do, and then they also start questioning, especially now where they could talk to each other more. Like it should make it easier, but there's cases where the offense has full control. Like we've heard Aaron Rodgers say, I'll notice that these guys aren't communicating well and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like maybe not with Tampa in general, but
it's going to be a lot harder in this building when there's going to be 25,000 people.
Yeah, but that's 25,000 out of like probably 100,000 seat crowd, something like that.
But it's going to be jarring considering they haven't really played in front of people like that. I mean, you know what? I guess Kansas City has. They've had fans all year.
Yeah. So I truly do think that the offense and this goes for both sides, but specifically with the pressure that they're going to try to bring to the Chiefs and with what Andy Reid does, I feel like it makes it very difficult for a defense to get to Mahomes. How many times has he been sacked? Like he doesn't get sacked often,
right?
And just his ability to move out of the pocket and stuff, I feel like it's going to be very difficult for this team to get like 4 or 5 sacks on him. And
that's the number. That's the number. If they're going to win the game, they got to get him down 5 times at least.
Yeah. And my whole thing, even when he does get hit like that, I don't know what he got. I think he got hit 4 times in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
And he still just keeps on coming. He doesn't. He's not a. I've never seen him look intimidated. Like he in San Francisco.
Right, sure. But he
still asks for Wasp at the end of the game, and that to me matters because if you scared at that point, if you like, yo, I don't want to get hit anymore, you're not gonna ask for a play that causes for you to almost for sure 100% get hit. And you're gonna get hit hard because you have to hold the ball and let the play develop before. So that I just think
I'm just not concerned with any of that considering the 2 quarterbacks involved. Like I don't think you're getting any of that on the other side either.
I don't know.
The guy's throwing double. Tom Brady's thrown double the amount of Super Bowl passes than anybody ever.
And I've seen him look scared to get hit.
Oh man, come on! Not in the Super Bowl game. It won't be happening. I'll tell you right now. This is
maybe at the end of a drive, like the ending drive, if he has like a chance for a game-winning drive, sure. But
he's not going to be scared to play in the pocket. This is the biggest game. This is if And we've seen this in seasons past from Brady, even when he was in New England.
A few times, Frank Clark and what's your man? The man's that you love,
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones coming at him. I think he might be a little scared. I promise you, we're gonna beat him.
Tom Brady. No, I hate Tom Brady. I grew up a Tom Brady hater. Fucking one thing he's not is scared. I don't think you're gonna be dealing with that on either end.
You've never seen Brady scared in the pocket?
Not in the playoffs. No, not in the playoffs. Definitely not. Not in games that matter. Not at the end of games when it matters. Not in any of those situations. No. Fucking. And I'm not saying I've seen Mahomes look that way either. But what I'm saying is, it's just not something I'm worried about in the contest. The one thing I'd be the most concerned about is when you're able to bring him down, that forces that internal clock in your head to go faster than it is. So it forces more mistakes, more turnovers might happen, etc. Speaking of turnovers happening, the one thing that we haven't really talked about that could be the biggest factor of all is fucking rain.
Yeah. I was hearing about it earlier this morning, and it sounds like it's gonna be in the morning that the that the thunderstorm's gonna happen.
They have 31% chance of thunderstorms in the morning, in the afternoon. Precipitation, 83% humidity. Not a lot of crazy wind, which is good for obvious reasons.
It's more so important for Brady instead of Mahomes.
I'm not gonna be able to get an accurate radar for Sunday, but if it's gonna be, I would check that shit at game time. If it's gonna rain and rain's gonna be a factor, then
I think that's advantage to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They have two very good running backs in Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, who have both shined this season at different points.
Is those jet sweeps?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Yeah,
I think jet sweeps with Tyreek Hill and Miko might be deadly because
they'll have shit to run. I'm not worried about that.
The biggest thing about just playing in the rain or even in the snow is it's always advantage to the offense versus because you have to react to what the other guy's doing versus the other guy knowing where he's gonna want to go. Yeah. So, and what was I gonna tell you? I was gonna say, yeah, could we look up the injury report just to make sure? I want to see who.
That was the other thing I wanted to look up before we moved. Before we move on to our gambling section.
Yeah.
Yeah. From 4 hours ago.
Final injury report. 3 listed as questionable.
Let me zoom that in a little bit.
Yeah, my boy Gay. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Sammy Watkins is pissing me off.
He's gonna play. He's definitely gonna play.
Yeah, if not, I'm punching him dead in his throat. You wanna know why?
I would not want him to play if I were you, but I want to hear your reasoning first.
All right, so for one, you don't get to talk shit to every single team we've faced this year, from Cleveland to Buffalo, and now Tampa Bay saying, yeah, I'd like to re-sign with the Chiefs and win the 3rd Super Bowl. Bro, you ain't even win it. You didn't do shit. You haven't done anything yet. You better fucking come in and do something about it. Like, I'm going to be so mad if he doesn't play because
you
can't just win.
Playing.
You better.
But I would not want him to play if I were you, and here's why. Who would you rather have out there with Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins or Hardman?
For this game?
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to be sharing snaps, but honestly, the whole thing with Hardman is I feel like Watkins, he came in clutch last year against. Okay, he set up the us to get in touchdown range when we went up in the Super Bowl last year, and he caught like a great pass on Richard Sherman. Right. I don't know if Miko would have done that.
Miko hasn't even been given the opportunity. That's the part that's just been bothering me about that guy. is I think that guy's got it. I think that guy's got super talent. And I think that guy's potentially got Tyreek talent or something close to it. And I don't think that they're letting it happen. And Sammy Watkins is a guy who's almost a 10-year veteran. I think more than that, actually.
Yeah.
And it's time.
Well,
it's time. It's time, and I don't think they should put him out there.
Yeah. And I think they're going to share snaps anyways. I don't think they're going to not give Miko the snaps because he's been doing well anyways. But I'm pretty sure if Watkins wants money next year, which he probably won't because he knows he's gonna have to take a pay cut to go against. Wow, he's not 27.
Yeah, he's young. But
what the fuck?
Yeah, he's been 7 years, almost 7.
But he's been injured so many fucking games.
Well, that's why I don't fuck with him because so on Buffalo he exploded in Buffalo when he was just starting out because he was great. Look at this, 128 targets his rookie year. That is absurd. 65 catches, 9 or 8, 6 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. He was a burner. He was just roasting people down the field, right? Then he went to the Rams. He scored a lot of touchdowns, but as you can see, only under 40 catches, right? Yeah. And then he's been in Kansas City and he's been okay. Like I think it's time for him to move on and let Mecole Hardman flourish in that role next to Tyreek Hill. So they can.
I think it's more cost effective for the Chiefs to do it that way.
Yeah.
Because they could free up some cap.
Spending money on more defense.
Yeah, or offensive linemen.
That too.
Because Eric Fisher just got Achilles injury. Most likely he ruptured his Achilles.
He's out.
You don't know what's going to happen next year.
And like Willie Gay is also out. For the Bucks, Antonio Brown is questionable. He will play.
Yes.
Cameron Brate
not play.
Did not practice. I have heard that everyone in the Bucks is very hopeful that he will play. But I don't know.
When you go from not having an injury to limited to then
not playing.
To then not playing.
Bad.
All right, let's think about this, guys. And this doesn't even have to go to our gambling guys or just who hates Chiefs or anything. If you were in fantasy right now and you look at your guy and you say, damn, he randomly got limited in practice. Damn, he didn't practice. Are you starting that guy next week?
No.
Huh?
No.
Huh? Most likely no, right?
If anything, he's blocking.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
But JPP looks like he's playing. Even though he did not practice also on Friday. Look at that. Same thing. Limited, did not practice, but not questionable.
Yeah, I think he played like 35 snaps against the Packers last game. He probably gets something similar or a little bit more. Because obviously he had 2 weeks rest from that whatever injury he had. So we'll see how that goes with that guy. I'm not
And Ndamukong Suh also didn't practice, but I'm sure it's like a veteran thing.
Yeah.
Which might be the same thing with JPP, but I don't know considering the 2 DNPs.
No, but he hadn't practiced all last week either.
Yeah. So
I think because he had what does it say?
It's a knee injury.
It was a knee injury, yeah.
All right. So we are on FanDuel's Sportsbook page. Sorry for leaning into the mic aggressively. We're on FanDuel Sportsbook page. Who do you got winning this game?
I'm not sure, I'm kind of contemplating. I don't know who I really want between either of these teams. I don't really know who I want to win the game. But I might be leaning a little bit towards the Chiefs.
A little bit? Just a tad?
Yeah, I don't know, like something like 35-25 and then score. Probably be up three possessions going into the fourth quarter, something like that. And then Tom Brady does his little shit to bring within a touchdown, throws like 2 interceptions, something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
So this is your parlay on the money. So you got Chiefs on the money line, Chiefs by 3, and the over, right?
I don't think you can.
You can.
Yeah, if you
better odds if you do it.
If we bet in the smart money, that's what we do. Yeah. I don't know why the spread is still 3 if there's like 80% of America that voted on Chiefs to win this game.
I saw on the Pat McAfee show that they had a lot of people on FanDuel. It's pretty split between the Chiefs and Bucks.
Oh, okay, that makes way more sense then.
Yeah.
I can see why that's there. So, but let's get into the fun stuff.
Well, hold on. We're almost into the fun stuff. I gotta make my fucking pick.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's okay. I'm not that important. So, we have the Chiefs.
I don't
the
agree.
Buccaneers.
I love you, Russell.
So, So, I feel like the media is trying to talk me into the Buccaneers covering the spread and not losing by 3. But we watched this happen already. And it was a fucking beating. It was a beating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, the real question for me is, I don't know if it's going to be over or under that 55.5 total. I think that's a really nice number. If it rains, 100% going under. Because I just think the game will be slower. It'll be harder to get all those points on the board. But so I'll do that. I'll go Chiefs. Chiefs 3, Chiefs on the money line, and I'll take the under for that same kind of
Last
deal.
time you bet under for fucking Tampa Bay, you remember what that did to you?
Yeah, of course. Fuck me up.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if it's gonna go, if the Bucks game plan is like I said, with all the different where they have to keep Mahomes on his ass, and they're able to do that, I think they probably won't score more than 21 or 24 points. That's what I was saying to start this whole thing. I was like, if the Chiefs score more than 24 points, I don't think that they can lose.
You have the Chiefs winning this game because I feel like if it goes the Buccaneers' way, they should win the game.
So I bring you back to Indianapolis versus the Bills, right? Indianapolis versus the Bills in round 1 of the playoffs, wild card weekend. The Colts did everything the way they were supposed to. They won time of possession. They were running the ball easily, right?
Yes.
They had succeeded in keeping Josh Allen off the field, and Josh Allen still put up 27 points on them, was super efficient, and they walked out of that fucking field with an L. You can try to have a game plan. You can succeed in your game plan to an extent, and you can still fucking lose.
But what would you say fucked them up in that game? That same Colts game we talking about.
That they missed a 4th down opportunity for a touchdown. That would be number 1. And then number 2 is they missed several field goals, and they had a lot of missed opportunities go against them.
So they went for it. Yeah, they went for it on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal.
Right.
Which I would think that Tom Brady would kick that field goal, going based on just his natural. If Tom Brady was the quarterback at that time,
Tom Brady would kick the field goal or no?
He would have kicked the field goal.
Okay.
And I know this because one, they were already up in the game. They were up, I think, by 7 at that point. If they would have kicked that field goal, they would have been up. They would have been up 10. I think it would have been 13-3 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But instead, obviously it flipped and whatever. But so I just don't see. I think if it goes the way you're saying,
right,
most likely Bucks win.
Okay.
Because that's in my opinion. But what would we think? You would think that the running game should be a huge factor against Tampa Bay, right?
Against Tampa Bay?
I mean, sorry, against the Chiefs, right?
I was going to say, against Tampa Bay, no. But against the Chiefs, sure. Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Okay, so I just have a question, and I know the answer, but I like to ask you questions, then the audience could be engaged, you know? So, what running backs are better? Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, or Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones? Who would you, if you had to choose running backs on your team to go against these Chiefs, Which 2 running backs would you choose?
I would choose the Browns running backs, but it's all about game script, and you know this.
Yes. Okay. Right. So I'm just saying we kept the Browns running backs to under 100 yards rushing.
You also kept the Browns. You also just generally scored a lot on the Browns. The more impressive thing is you held them in check once you had Chad Henne. You know what I mean? Like, once Chad Henne came in the game, it almost went up and over until you needed to make the plays, and then you went for it on 4th down and sealed it, right?
But the important stat about that, which, like, I know you did the iffy thing, but the important stat is when the Chiefs were up by more than 2 scores, they allowed 6 yards per rush.
Right.
When the game was within a 1-score game, they allowed 1 yard per rush.
Right.
That matters a lot because Tom Brady.
What is it like to root for a team that just doesn't care all the time?
What do you mean?
I'm asking you honestly because you're somebody who's super competitive and you come from the Kobe Bryant school of thought. What's it like to have a team that you root for a lot that you know 100% of the time isn't giving their best?
It's stressful. It is very stressful because
I just wanted to hear you say it one time. I hear you talking. I'm just like, this has got to drive you insane.
Yes, the reason he asked that is because I had the luxury of in 2009 and 2010 watching Kobe play every single game like it was his best.
Not only that, in 2012, when you guys were supposed to destroy the world, and that ended up crumbling. You watched Kobe Bryant said, I will play every minute of every game as if my life literally depended on it. And his career ended up depending on it. Yeah. And he still did it. And so this is like a total 180 for you. This is like the only way we've seen this in basketball is like the Clippers. And it usually doesn't work out. It doesn't work out well. This should not work. That's why it's just so interesting to hear you talk like this.
Yeah, but my whole thing is when it matters, when they know it matters.
Yeah,
they just that's literally the definition of just purely dominating your competition. To me, it's like when I play my nephews in basketball. I literally can fuck them up whenever I want in basketball, and I do. I'll go up by like 7-8 points, and then they'll just do their little dribbling around, and I'll just let them shoot and whatever, and they'll get 3-4 points, and they start talking a little bit of shit and acting like they could do something, and then I say, you know what? You're never gonna score again, and then you lose 21-4. Like that's what happens, and that's why I like seeing it. But the stressful part is when you just go down 9 points in the beginning of the game, and it's just like, oh, I'm gonna spot you 9 points now, and knowing how football works, you can't spot them 9 points. That like at some point that's gonna just be a disaster. Luckily, we have most likely the greatest quarterback to ever play, and arguably the greatest tight end to ever play, and then possibly in longevity the greatest wide receiver to ever play.
Oh my gosh, you just went all in there. Stove right into the Chiefs pool.
After we win about like 4 or 5 Super Bowls, and hopefully 4 with Andy Reid, we'll have the greatest coach to ever play.
It's times like this.
Because I know this is gonna come, and I know at some point you might throw this. I know this is supposed to be gambling, but this is for those people who are probably like, oh, Bill Belichick is the best coach ever. You want to know what? Andy Reid is gonna win 4 Super Bowls without fucking cheating. All right, we ain't have none of those dirty ass scandals and shit up in here. We don't got no Deflategate, no fucking Spygate, all of that gay shit that he be doing. Fuck out of here. Tell him to go hold my nuts, Belichick.
Tonight, this evening.
Facts. All right, so now let's get back to the bet.
So now let's have some fun.
I felt like I
don't know if anybody else had some fun, but I fucking did. All right, so let's see.